honestly, I could look at my phone right now and I could tell you, first message of the day was, I don't know, somewhere in the region of 15 to 20 chats ago on my phone. Maybe.
I flip that. When I'm on holiday and I'm completely chilled out and I'm feeling no stresses, my unhealthy switch is often switched on. I don't feel the need to eat badly.
The fast food, like I'm so stressed, I can't be bothered to cook. I'm gonna just, I don't know if this has already been said, but that's what I'm relating to in this situation, is the whole effortness of having to prepare something and cook it and plate it when I could just drive 5 minutes and get it and eat it out of a box.
Welcome to the Losing It podcast, where we talk heavy so you can feel light. I'm Josh, joined by Connor and Russ and Jimmy. Today we're talking about something we all experience, but don't always notice the full impact of, and that's stress. I know we've all get stressed at various different times, so I think it's a pretty pertinent topic. We all feel it, but few of us realize just how much it's shaping our minds, our moods, and even our metabolism. So we'll try and unpack what stress really does to us and how that impacts everything from burnout at work to your ability to manage weight and energy. But before we dive into all the serious stuff about stress, let's do a quick check. On the scale from I just woke up and I'm fine to I've had 3 cups of coffee and questioning all my life choices, how stressed are you guys then, lads? How are you feeling?
I'll take it. I'm not stressed. I'm pretty chill. Things just seem to have gone right for me this week. And that's not even like amazing things have happened, just nothing's gone wrong. Like, it's been such a plain sailing week. I've not had to worry about anything. It's all been pretty easy. Things are going good at work, which is quite nice. Today I got called up in front of the whole school and received my official distinction for passing my level 3. Which was quite nice. A bit of recognition. Not from you boys. Don't need it from you. I need
well done. Sorry, mate. Forgive my ignorance. What does that mean?
What does my qualification mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what the annoying thing is? About 10 years ago, it meant a lot. It meant so much 10 years ago that, like, before having your level 3, you couldn't even be left alone with children. You could work in childcare, but you couldn't be left alone with them. You couldn't hold any position higher than just a practitioner. But to be fair, I've not really looked into it, but someone at work said to me the other day that level 2s and level 3s are basically the same now. You could be a level 2 and have a room leader position. I'm not sure about, there's always such a big thing when I first got into childcare that level 2s can't be left with the children. I don't know if that is still a thing. I probably should look that up. But anyway, yeah. So it 10 years ago it meant something, but today it doesn't mean much. It just means it's more of a personal thing, I guess. It's something I wish I had passed back when I was 18. Never did. I started it when I was 18, but I just wanted to bunk off, basically. I think what the problem was is I just went straight from, after I'd done my level 2, I went straight into my level 3. Done like a month of level 3 and was like, this is much harder. This is a lot more work and I can't be bothered. So I think
the teacher that's in the movie Nativity, is he level 3 or is he like level 5?
You'll have to ask George.
Yeah.
I like how also you were like, this is too hard. A lot of people would be like, oh, I'm just going to take a gap year, but you took a gap decade.
I needed it.
Oh, no, well done, man. That's cool.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And is it one of those things that's now going to come with extra responsibility, or is it just proof that you are where you should be?
So I'm going to hopefully use it to get more responsibility.
Well done.
In terms of like management roles, I don't think level 2s can have management roles. So I'd be using it to, try and get a position of power.
To you. Nice one, mate. Jimmy, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Honestly, probably like 8 or 9 on that stress scale. But I'm very good at wearing masks to say otherwise. Yeah, got like I've had quite the opposite to Con's week. I think not everything's been smooth sailing. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. But I don't know. It's difficult because like I'm just I'm just like riding the wave a little bit at the moment, and sort of going back to the celebrity special with Jeff. Con, you wouldn't have heard this because you haven't fucking watched it. He talked about like riding the wave and trying not to end up face down in the water. That's pretty much where I'm at the moment, but managing to ride the waves, so to speak. But I don't know, it'll probably inevitably come out. I think I texted you, Russ, before football last week and said I could have just done with a little Palmer cuddle just before the game.
And I offered it up. You received it.
I did receive it.
You had a reach around. I came from behind.
Yeah.
Snuck up on you.
You
like
did,
a ginger,
yeah.
like a ginger ninja.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm all right, I suppose. Although you saying number one being I've just woken up and I feel great. I actually have just woken up about half an hour ago because I've not been sleeping very well, so I had a little nap.
Ooh,
So
little nana nap, lovely.
Yeah, it was a day off today, so I've literally, I mean, I'll just have a quick. I've done less than 2,000 steps today, so I've definitely had a very lazy.
It's a good day. That's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dangerous having my day. My days off usually fall on a Thursday, which is dangerous for me because I just not eat whatever I want, but I'm not as like regimented as I would be at work.
Well, you're closer to the fridge, aren't you? You are closer to the food when you're at home. It's a fact.
Yeah. So I went out and had coffee and cake with my mum today, which was nice. And it was a massive slab of cake anyway as well. So, but we'll see. Hopefully I've done enough throughout the rest of the week to suggest that it's not all bad. That's me.
Who's left to share? Is it Russ?
Yeah, I don't mind going. Bit of a mixed one. So I'd probably rank myself on the sort of 6 or 7 for this week out of 10 in terms of stress levels. I think as it is right here and now, probably closer to the 6. But there have been times when it's been up sort of like 7s and 8s this week. We're feeling a little bit stressed with some work projects, but not as bad as recent weeks. I definitely felt a lot of positivity and a lot of gratitude with the celebrity special podcast going out, getting some really nice personal responses and some team level platitudes of how well we're doing and what we're doing on here, which does genuinely make me feel good and makes things seem a little bit more worthwhile versus sort of stuck at your desk looking at spreadsheets and stuff like that. So wishing I could get a bit more enthused about football. That would really help me get a bit more positivity. It is a stress buster for me. Enjoying a good run of form from your football team, but just not feeling the love, feeling the passion at the minute. But hopefully we'll get that back. I'm looking forward to this though, Josh, around the different the different things we're going to come on to. Stress is something that I think we should talk more about. So nice one for having this as an idea to talk about. And how about yourself? Where are you on the scale?
Pretty chill, honestly. Quite fortunate that I've fallen into just a good routine, good habits, hopefully, and that's meant that I've been pretty relatively stress-free. There are moments, as we'll come on to the types of stress, there are moments that just crop up, but yeah, pretty good on the whole, I'd say.
Good.
Nothing. I don't know where to place myself on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe a 2, something like that. Nothing.
Is it a big 2?
Yes, it was a big 2. Yes, It was a very big 2. Anyway, um, maybe then it's time to come on to actually different types of stress. Something maybe we can discuss if you're willing to listen to me ramble for the next few minutes.
Let's have it.
Please.
Yeah, so we kind of all know what stress is, right? We all roughly do. But we kind of, I guess, is there an assumption that stress is always bad? That's what I would ask you is first thing. Do you assume that stress is almost always universally bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even stress around good things, like stressing about, to be fair, I can't think of anything. Maybe, like, okay, so something relative to me, moving into a new place. That's a good thing to happen to someone, to be able to secure your own place and move in somewhere and have your independence. That's a good thing. But the stress still doesn't feel good around it. So, no, I don't normally associate stress with good or good stress.
I think we're all conditioned now to know that stress has a negative connotation. So I do think that we all jump to stress as being the manifestation of negative pressure. However, me personally, I do know that I thrive under pressure. If there is a bigger deadline, or if I've left something closer up to the deadline, pull my finger out, get the job done, and the stress is a positive motivator in that regard. So, and I know for people like athletes, sportsmen, and people who sort of deal with public speaking as in their profession, they use that stress to perform.
Yeah. So that's kind of the first level of stress on a spectrum as such. So you've got, it's called eustress, or is it EUSTRESS? So it's it's that good kind as such, if you can call it good. It's that spark that kind of pushes you to perform better, take on challenges, grow, etc. I don't know if you guys have felt that before. Around
like I just said, like definitely when you kind of get a bit excited about, from my work anyway, you get a bit excited about finding a problem and then solving it, and then you get long enough in the tooth to tell yourself to shut the fuck up, so that you don't end up giving yourself more work and actually finding that before you know it, you've actually given yourself proper stress. But yeah, I think definitely the other thing I would relate to is with music. Like if I'm gigging and I get that positive energy, that positive stress, I want to channel that into a performance and actually make sure that give people put that energy into the craft and what you're doing. So yeah, for me, 100% relate to that.
Yeah. I don't know if you other two of you've had anything, even if it's just something, it might be just trying something new. I think sometimes people mistake it for anticipation, kind of like a little bit of,
anxiety.
Anxiety, yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, when you put it like that, I didn't even think of eustress, as I now know it's called, as a type of stress. Like, I just think of it as like locking in, like that feeling of like the pressure of you've got to focus and do this now. In school, I'd done a lot of drama, had to do like the whole school play in front of loads of people in a massive hall. And you saying about that anxiety feeling, I'd never really associated that as being stress, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Physiologically, excitement, when you're really super excited about something, it's the same hormones and the same physiological effects as anxiety.
Yeah.
They're very, very closely related, excitement and anxiety. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose I still get it on a Friday before we play football. In that, like, in those moments just before we kick off, when we're sort of passing the ball amongst our team and you're literally like on the pitch ready to go, I still get that like anticipation of what's about to happen, I suppose.
Pre-match nerves.
Pre-match nerves.
It is kind of... Sorry, go on, Jim.
And the other example that I can think of recently is, and I've talked about it on here before and talked to you three probably personally about it, is flying, because I don't like flying. That sort of, I wouldn't ordinarily call that stress, but then, like you said, when you that eustress,
Yep.
I suppose
stress.
it is EU stress. Yeah, bloody Brexit. That's I suppose that is. Yeah, that's another type where it's not like it's. I'd associate it more with anxiety and nerves than stress, but you're absolutely right. If it's well, I suppose that's actually not the greatest example because it's not like I'm excited for going on a flight, but then I suppose I'm excited about the other end and getting on holiday, or equally getting home after a holiday. So yeah, I suppose it is sort of excitement, stress.
Yeah, so it's kind of defined with either excitement or anticipation, a kind of focused energy as such. I don't know, stress with a purpose as such, in a weird way. It's kind of the whole thing about building resilience, improving performance, supporting confidence, that kind of thing, in a roundabout way. That's the idea behind that. Personally, I can remember plenty of times that's been the case, even with work. Sometimes I think I get my head down to a deadline and things like this.
I think most people would relate to that being a workplace related type thing, more often than not.
Yeah.
And life events, life stuff. You know, you've got someone's child's birthday coming up or a loved one's birthday coming up. You can feel that kind of like you're going to have a really good time, but it's kind of on you to make that happen. So that you know that those kind of events, I think you start to feel those kind of like those sort of physiological responses, like like anxiety as well and excitement.
Yeah. So the next form of stress, as such, is acute stress. So it's a reactionary thing. So it's that instant surge of adrenaline when your brain goes danger kind of thing. React now. So those quick, intense moments when something unexpected happens. I don't know, it could be you're about to have an accident at the car, you slam on the brakes, or even things like you get a difficult email, or suddenly you have to make a quick decision. I think most people define it by fight or flight. So it's that, but once that moment passes, it's kind of a system reset as such. You kind of just calm down. That's pretty normal. It's a pretty normal form of stress. Our bodies are designed for short bursts like that. So that's not a huge thing. So I think we've all been in that part before.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of sweating, heart rate rises pretty quickly. Generally adrenaline rush and a bit of extra alertness that you wouldn't normally have.
Traffic, driving.
Yeah.
That's where I think I would say I experience that the most. Yeah.
So as we were saying, kind of slightly in line with, in small doses, it can be pretty motivating and beneficial, but sharpens focus in that. But problems arise when that becomes too often. Absolutely. Without recovery time. So that moves us into episodic acute stress, which is a kind of a strain, really. Life doesn't kind of give you much recovery time, does it? So you can have acute stress, but not always going to be the case. So that's where episodic stuff creeps in. So it's kind of when every day feels like a mini crisis. So you're either always rushing, or you're juggling stuff, or you're reacting to stuff. It's kind of like your body never gets the memo that the emergency's over. You're stuck in high alert mode, not because you're weak, but because modern life keeps hitting the panic button. So it's like kind of being your own emergency service 24/7.
Do you think that some of that could be self-inflicted, or not self-inflicted, more like, so you could get yourself into this idea that every day is a mini crisis, when in reality it's not? And that's not to take away from that feeling of it, because people do it. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say every day is a mini crisis, but actually if I was to stop and like take stock of what's happening, is everything a mini crisis, or am I just inflating it in my own head? And that's a genuine question as well. Like I don't know if it's
because
sort of half self-inflicted.
It's that I was kind of outlining a definition, but everyone treats it differently. Everyone's kind of what considers episodic acute stress is different. You know, as you were saying, some of that, in theory, it could be self-inflicted to a degree. I would assume, but that's where you get into the realm of potentially needing to work on that kind of thing. You know, with, I don't know if you need, not therapy per se, but you know, that kind of thing where you need to. There are ways to combat it, I guess, every day, but it's ultimately up to how you respond to things like that. So I think we all have stresses in our lives, don't we? All have small things that cause us stress, and it's different for everyone. But how you deal with it, I guess, is how stressful it feels. Am I? Does that make any sense? I don't. I know I'm not an expert on this, so by any means. So that's it's a good observation. Yes. Like, how do you guys deal with that kind of thing? Have you guys ever had those moments where you feel like it's just nonstop? Even if it's like a week or two or a short period, a few days. It's just
I mean, I don't know if we're going to come on to it, but when I had my breakdown, that was because of some serious things that were happening in a condensed period of time, and I now know that it was because of the overproduction of adrenaline and cortisol, or cortisone. Can't remember one. Cortisone, I think.
Yeah.
Which are the stress hormones, and basically your body is just overproducing it, and that then leads to other physiological responses. So, which is basically when you get to a nervous breakdown. But that's, as I say, we'll probably come on to that. But people's thresholds are different, and people's tolerances and resiliences are different. I guess some people could hit those levels of stress with fewer stimulants stimuluses in terms of like events than others.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on how well you are, how well you cope with those things that are chucked at you. It's very difficult to say, right, if you go through this particular set of events every single day, you will be a basket case, or not. It depends on how you can handle stuff day to day.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think personally. I've been quite lucky, I think, fortunate, where I don't think I've had any real serious parts. Well, I think I've tried to avoid it, if I'm really honest, where absolutely possible. So I've deliberately tried putting myself in a position where I don't feel like I have to deal with a lot of stress.
Sometimes we can try and avoid it, but it just happens in life. It can
exactly
be the cards you're dealt. So
yeah. Anyway, so the next thing would be chronic stress. So that's kind of that. If it continues long enough, it's that kind of part. So it kind of stops becoming an event and kind of becomes a lifestyle. So it's the slow burn. It's not the dramatic. It's the constant. So the job that drains you, the relationship tension that never resolves, the financial worries that keep you up at night, that kind of thing. So it's like you keep the engine running, eventually it'll overheat or run out of petrol. It's just it's not sustainable. So it's that drained, emotionally flat, kind of often tied to anxiety and depression, that kind of thing.
It's a good analogy, that the engine's running, but eventually it'll overheat.
Yeah, there'll be a breaking point. You'll either snap into a rage, or you'll just say enough. I've stopped this world. I want to get off. That level of chronic stress, I think, is where we want to make sure people know that there is a place they can go to talk to people if they're feeling like that. That is, if you're not careful, where the engine will stop running. Can be something serious. It may be a catalyst for a person to, I don't know, start self-medicating, self-harming, not necessarily in the normal sense of self-harming, but hitting the fuck it button, as Liam would say, to try and escape from those stresses, because they want the world to stop.
And I think a sort of unspoken self-harm, so to speak, is things like not in the dramatic sense of literally hurting yourself, but it's
self-sabotage. That's what I meant.
Yeah, and like stopping doing the basic things. So you don't care so much about brushing your teeth. You don't care about showering. You're not getting enough sleep. You're just keeping, doom scrolling's the sort of in term at the moment, isn't it? Where you just sit and everything's short form content, apart from us, of course. You can sit and listen to us. But doom scrolling and not sleeping well and not eating when you should and not drinking enough water and stuff like that. You wouldn't like their stress responses, but also you wouldn't say, oh, I didn't drink enough water today, so that's self-harm. Like, but really, if you're not doing the basic things, the definition is you are literally harming yourself by not doing those basic things. So I suppose it's a difficult one.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of another couple of things about the chronic stress that is kind of broken into a couple of things. Some people don't really think of this one as well. Physical stress. So your body can be stressed out, right? We know that. Too much exercise, not enough rest, poor sleep can all send signals before your mind even catches up. So all parts of these stresses, as Russ was saying, it raises cortisol. So that's the hormone essentially that, I don't know if it causes stress. You know what I'm trying to say. I think, Russ, you might know more about it than I do, but physical stress.
No, it's a stress response. It's a stress response hormone. It doesn't cause it. It'll be raised when you're undergoing stress.
Yeah. So the big thing on that one is that physical stress is also something that people tend not to consider stress. So because it's something that raises cortisol without you realizing it, mainly, and that can really take its toll as well. Obviously, we've touched on emotional stress. I know we'll come to this, I'm sure, in future episodes, but breakups and grief and family tension and things like this, that emotional heaviness, that there's all part of kind of potentially chronic stress. It can be pretty damaging.
So physical stress then, you talk about like exercising too much or not getting enough sleep, or can you also consider things like working too much or too hard, or I suppose your body does quite literally send you signals, like when you're doing those things, when you're not giving yourself enough rest and leeway and recovery time, so to speak.
I think like the very definition of stress, the stress of the amount of pressure that something can take, or the amount of force put on something and pressure put on something until something gives. Can something take the stress and the strain? Building materials, whatever you think about the stress on joints, the stress on the structure. And so, yeah, absolutely, there can be stresses on the physical body. My brother-in-law is a long time plumber, and I know we've got other tradesmen in the Man v Fat group. A lot of them will have physical stress as a result of manual work and spending a lot of time sort of crawling through spaces, hands and knees and elbows and shoulder joints, all that kind of stuff. And actually,
typically about 80 there.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking of Scott as well. He's got really bad knees. Yeah. But those physical stresses and strains, if they prolong and you get sort of I don't know, chronic pain or long-term joint ache and stiffness, that can also lead you to feel down and feel like you're dealing with a gripe continuously. You will feel like shit. Absolutely. So yeah, for the physical stress, definitely get that.
Yeah. So I have a bit of a fact to give you that leads us on to our last part of essentially the end goal, not really the goal, you know what I mean, of stress. And that is around 74% of UK adults say they have felt so stressed that they were overwhelmed or unable to cope at some point in the past year. And if you're thinking about
that's fucking
three
crazy.
quarters, is just ridiculous.
Modern times, it's scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
So that leads us.
I think. Sorry, Josh, to interject there. I was just going to say, I think, and Russ, you saying there about the modern world. And I know it's something that Russ, you're keen to talk about in a future episode. I think if I was to think about myself personally, and probably, I don't like to say I speak for other people quite often, but I probably do personally speak for other people in this as well. Financial stresses, especially in the last decade, let's be real, but for some reason more so in the last sort of 18 months or so. When you think about I think it was last week that they announced the new national minimum living wage, and when you compare that across the years to national minimum living wages and the cost of basic things, the financial stress for me is a big stress, and it's just wild that I'm not articulating to. I mean, the classic one is the whole. You must have all seen, and listeners, you've probably heard of the Freddo analogy. Whereas in 2000, I could have bought 50 Freddos, and now in 2025, and now in 2025, I could only buy 5 Freddos. Do you know what I mean? Where that classic, but it's so true. Us as Brits, I suppose, trivialize things like that so often, but in reality, that's that's just wild.
Inflation's gone up 25% since COVID.
But that's in 5 years, man. That's
what happens when you print trillions of pounds to try and keep up an economy. It was always going to happen, but knowing it's going to happen and then it actually hitting it are two different things. I think we are in the times of falling living standards across the working and middle classes, and I think it's really, really stark to see the divide now between the super rich and everyone else, and all the wealth has gone up to the upper echelons of society, and at the expense of all of our living standards. Which is why it's harder to get GP appointments and get proper healthcare because of all of the issues. We got the Rachel Reeves's budget coming out next month. That's going to be even more catastrophic. So we are going to be dealing. If for those who do geek out like I do on politics and current affairs, you'll probably know that there is quite a dark cloud over the next budget and how we are as a country, or even a lot of the European countries and G7, etc. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. Yeah. So how do we weather that storm? That's the question. We know that the forecasts are bleak. What do we do? How do we take comfort and solace in the things that we do have, and what about the serenity prayer? What can we control? I don't know the answer because it's an individual question, but these are things that I really want to dig in. Topics that I want to really dig into, Jimmy. You're right, I do want to talk about finances and people's feeling of despair because of it. So yeah, but it's a massive stress. It's a massive stress. Can't be understated.
Yeah. Your life's outlook on the budget there stressed me out, mate.
It's not good, mate. It's not good.
No, I agree.
It's not, and they're coming up. They're coming after us even more. We are taxed to fucking death. It's not, and this budget is not going to be good. I'm not saying I blame them for it. It's just it's the state of the nation.
Alas, stress for everyone potentially, isn't it? And that's the underlying thing.
That was Politics Minute with Russ.
Yeah.
I could go deeper if you want, mate. That was really high level.
But like I say, it's definitely something we'll discuss in a future episode, because I know you're keen to talk about it. And aside from my Freddo analogy, you definitely know a lot more about it than I do. I talked about Freddos and you were talking about the budget. So
I'll talk about lowering interest rates in the Bank of England's policy if you want. We can go into that.
Let's leave that for next time.
I need a free hand for that.
Oh dear. Go on. Next fact.
No, I was just going to say that the last part of the stress spectrum as such is burnout. Everyone kind of associates that, knows what that term is. Essentially, it's the end of the line as such. It's the far end of the spectrum. It's the point where you kind of just like, you press that fuck it button. It's like, I can't do this anymore. You know, it's not necessarily weakness, but it's a signal that you've gone beyond your capacity for too long. You might still be functioning, but it's more about survival than fulfillment.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you guys, because that leads me to my question is, you know, have any of you got to that stage before? I know, Russ, I'm sure you have. And
yeah, I remember it well. It was early December in 2012, and I had my first panic attack in HMV in Bournemouth, and that was my moment of burnout. And that was, all the lights came down, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, like I was going to have a heart attack. And that was the beginning of my decline with my anxiety and depression. That was the event. I had a whole load of shit all collide in a couple of days, and that was it. That was like the switch that was flicked, and I was a wreck for quite a while after that.
Yeah. So
yeah, been there, mate, and that is it's a true thing, and it took that for me to really understand what mental health meant, and what the build up of all those stresses can accumulate to. You think you can ride through anything. You think you're pretty tough and you're quite resilient, but once your body takes over and these stresses kick in, there is nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it.
Well, as we'll come to later, it's about trying to then find ways to cope. Hopefully, and you listeners obviously know we don't get to that stage of burnout, but I know it's sometimes out of control. But
I've said this before. Like, this was something which was, for me, my stresses all manifested themselves physiologically rather than emotionally. So I did have some moments of feeling pretty down and flat, but generally it was the physical symptoms, dizziness and feeling nauseous and weak and cold all the time, and jelly legs and sweaty palms. And I know that all of these things are responses because of my hormones and trying to protect your organs, so your blood flow changes, all this kind of weird stuff. You can't concentrate, you can't read, because your mind is taken over by different things that get the mind brain chemistry is all up the swanny. So it's the physiological stuff that this can do, and you know, people will react differently to it. Glad to come out the other side, obviously, but still something I have to manage. So no, I feel it, mate. This is good stuff. Good to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is a point where you can encourage listeners to try and start noticing the signs of stress as such, because it's something, I'll be really honest, there have been points in my life where I just haven't taken it seriously. You know, I just haven't. I'll be okay. As I say, I'll be honest, I've never reached that like highest echelons of stress really, but that's probably why it's easier to overlook, because you're not quite at that limit. But there are clear signs, you know, irritability and anxiety, which we all deal with in our own way, and kind of that thing where you feel easily overwhelmed, those kind of things, getting headaches and things like that. So these can all be signs that maybe we've gone a little bit too far on the stress spectrum. Anyway, so I was going to ask you guys then, about your stresses if you're willing to discuss it. So kind of what small stresses you deal with day to day, or are there specific times a year? In fact, is it a yearly thing where you go through flows, where you go, this time of year is particularly stressful for me, etc. I find Christmas pretty stressful. I'm not going to lie. It's mainly just a slight family dynamic, and it's usually a family affair. And I get pulled left, right, and centre about my mother wants to do this, my father wants to do this, my sisters want to do this, and generally there's an alignment. And I'm sure they're going to be listening to this and going, "What are you on about, Josh?" But it's more.
That's how you feel. That's how you feel.
Yeah. But it's more like I don't know sometimes what I want to do over Christmas. Sometimes it's I don't want to do anything.
There is like a
but being pulled
like
into something
societal. Yeah, this like society. I don't know if we've talked about it before. Actually, the like societal pressure to like to sort of see everyone and do everything that's the sort of norm, so to speak, and that's in inverted commas, over Christmas. But like
we did, mate. We did individual videos. We all did a little 23 mph video to say, Christmas can be a stressful time. Remember that?
Oh dear, who's the traitor now, Jimmy? Who's not watching the content now?
Chickens come home to roost.
So no, I think we have acknowledged it before, but it's a very, very, very salient point. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you there is this like I sit and think about it now, and it sounds horrible to say, but I can't remember a Christmas that I've ever just done what I wanted to do. Like, and I'm not saying I've had bad Christmases, because that's not what I mean. But what I mean is, my idea of a good Christmas is having a roast dinner, getting some presents,
and everyone comes to me. I don't have to go out and worry about.
Yeah, well, not even that, mate. Just getting pissed up. But like, I'm quite happy with my own company, really, and as long as Robin's happy on Christmas Day. But like, it seems horrible to say, because that sounds like I don't enjoy spending Christmas with the people that I love and the people that I'm around. But like, I don't know. I suppose same with like my birthday. Like this year, I'm thinking about my birthday. And I'm thinking, do you know what? I would be more than happy to just have a me day, like just do the shit that I want to do, like, and not have to like worry about this. Like I say, societal pressure to go and see everyone, and it's weird.
I feel like those are the two times for me. Birthdays, which mine was quite recent. I had people on me going, "Josh, what are we going to do? What are you going to do?" I'm 34. Come on now. Like a card. If you want to give me a card, that's fine. I don't really mind. May or may not see you on the day. Kind of in the nicest way life goes on. I'm just kind of want to chill. I want to just relax and treat it like any other day, because I don't like the pressure that I don't think anyone puts it on me, to be honest. But there is that little nudge. There's always that little nudge, and particularly as well at Christmas. So yes, those are the two times for me. I'm kind of just. But then it's weird. I feel like I'm in between a weird spot where it's like I want to make sure I spend the time with my family and friends while they're still here, and I know they have years, but you never really know. So you want to make sure you do that. But at the same time, sometimes I just don't want to do any of that, and it's that weird balance that I'm trying to find.
I think I've kind of chilled out, and I've got a really understanding mum as well. She's down in Devon, and she's really like, she's not demanding at all in terms of making sure that we have to see her on Christmas Day or whatever. She's really, really quite chilled out with that, which I'm really grateful for, because she is aware of sometimes it can be hard for working in an office and the 9 to 5. What days everyone tries to get off at the same time, it can make it quite difficult to get a decent amount of holiday over that period. So I'm really grateful for that. For me, I've got this time of year is actually quite reflective. So this Saturday coming will be the 8th anniversary of losing my first wife to brain tumor. So that's always poignant, and there's definitely even without it being in the calendar, it's the feeling in the air. It's the fact that late autumn, leaves are changing, got the kind of drizzly grey skies. It's the whole feeling of that, of how it was back then during those horrible days. It's the kind of sensation of this time of year rather than the date in the diary. Do you know what I mean? So that's I guess quite an animalistic feeling of thinking, oh well, it's the sensation that I'm drawn back to that horrible time because of how it feels in the seasonality. So yeah, that can be a bit shit.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, if you don't mind, I was just going to quickly ask you before I move on to the slight link between weight loss. What kind of stress profiles do you have? So are you guys like ragers? Do you tend to be shut down people? You tend not to deal with people, or do you quite silent sufferers, or people kind of reach out and talk to? And what do you do when you're stressed?
Connor.
I don't know. I'm a chill guy, bro. I don't get stressed. Maybe shut down a little bit. Maybe like go a bit silent so I can figure it out upstairs. But
for those listening, he's pointing to his temples.
Just go to a room upstairs in the house.
Everywhere I go, I must have a thinking room.
Okay.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Like I say, I don't. Obviously, I get stressed. I got quite a stressful job. I get, the other day we were doing a headcount of how many children in the room. All of a sudden, there's one gone missing. Don't know where they are. Turns out they were hiding behind a door somewhere. That's a big stress. You know what I mean? You've got 30 seconds to find that child before you have to alert the authorities that there's a child missing. Like, you have to know the layout of the room, where they might hide. And so, yeah, that thankfully isn't a daily occurrence, but you've got other things as well. Never work with children or animals. I feel like I work with both. Joking. So I don't know how I cope with stress, because genuinely it feels like it washes over me quite quickly. Once the situation's dealt with, it's done. So yeah, I'm gonna take a step and say that I'm quite a chill guy. When I do get stressed, I try my best to deal with the situation. I can't think of a time where I haven't really been able to deal with it. But even then, if it's something I can't deal with right away, it just goes to the back of the mind. It washes over me. Forget about it until it pops up again when you can deal with it. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. How about you, Jim, mate? You pretty?
I'm not a rager. That's for one. The only time in the last few years that I can remember that I've got like what you would define as a rager, and I've only literally just been reminded of it.
What I define as a rager?
A rager is, and I'm looking at it now, right? This is so fucking bad because it's like proper teenage kid stuff. Is when Call of Duty Black Ops 6 came out, right? and it was the first Call of Duty I'd played that I'd played for many years, and I was like, why are kids so fucking good at this game now? But like, why am I so shit at it? Like, but yeah, no, like seriously though, I think I'm more of a like definitely shut down, like shut everything off, and I don't like talking about my stresses. I sort of, I don't know, hide them away, I guess, and then I know that's not healthy, but we're all about being real and honest on here. Put them away, and then it will inevitably come out either in a big hoo-ha or in a little moment. I mean, I text Con earlier in the week and just said, mate, like, I've been feeling really, really, really depressed. Don't know why, like, and we just had a few minutes chat. I think actually Con was just getting in the shower and he was like,
literally one footstep in the shower, heard the phone vibrate. Oh, I'll answer that quick, and then I'll be washed.
Whenever I'm on the verge of a mental breakdown, like I think the last time before this where I text Con just before I was on the verge of this breakdown was when he was just cooking his dinner and he was like, yeah. So I don't know, like, but it sort of I don't know if it goes quite quickly, but I think I've said before, like Con relaxes me, not in that way before anyone says.
Perfectly fine. It's 2025.
Yeah. But
others though.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose you kind of got this way about like do you know, it's almost like you don't give a shit, but I know that you do. and that I suppose, well, maybe you don't. Who knows? You're not even fucking subscribed to our YouTube channel. But yeah, but yeah, I suppose I'm like a shutdown, and then it will come out to someone inevitably. But I go to different people for different things. So when I know that I need to go to someone that's just going to be like chill, I will text Con. If I know I need to go to someone that will let me fucking cry down the phone to him for half an hour, I'll text Russ. Sorry, Russ.
Well, mate, I'm not going to laugh about it. I don't mind that at all.
You know, and there are other people for other things that I'll text. Yeah. Like
if you need nothing related to stress whatsoever, you text me.
Yeah,
just nothing.
No, but I do
FPL advice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. I suppose it depends what I want to feel next. If I feel like I could do with a fucking breakdown, or not a breakdown, but a cry, then I'll go to a person that I'm comfortable doing that with. If I feel like I could just do a bit of a kick up the arse, then I'll go to someone else. If I feel like, you know, anyway, I've rambled on. That's a loaded answer to your question. Sorry.
Well, the point is, you will talk. The point is, you won't bottle it up, or you may have bottled it up for a small period, and then you'll release the pressure.
Yeah,
that's what she
said. Just quickly before we move on to something that I do want to cover, is about some of the small kind of techniques you can use to relieve some stress. That's more focused on some of the minor stresses you get day to day, but I do want to just touch on its relation to weight loss because and weight in general. So I do have a couple of facts. So among UK adults who said they felt stressed pretty consistently, 46%, so almost half, said they ate too much or ate unhealthily because of stress. I think we've probably all been there. Can we say we've all been there? Maybe
I flip that. When I'm on holiday and I'm completely chilled out and I'm feeling no stresses, my unhealthy switch is often switched off. Like I don't feel the need to eat badly. And see you, Con. Cheers, mate. I genuinely think when I can sense when I'm properly chilled out, my appetite reduces massively. So so obviously the converse is true.
Well, yeah. So that's what I was saying is that if you're feeling stressed, the comfort eating is pretty common. You know, it's very common. That's probably why 64% of adults in the UK are now classed as overweight or obese, which is pretty decent clip, I would say, nowadays.
It's obviously a misnomer then that about the jolly fat person. Like they're only, you know, they're fat because they're jolly, or they're jolly because they're fat. It's clearly not true.
Santa's actually massively depressed.
He is for 363 days of the year. Because obviously Boxing Day, we all love Boxing Day as well. That's why I didn't say 364 for anyone who digs me out for the maths. I get it.
Oh, what about a leap year?
It's 365 and a quarter, Russ.
Yeah.
Anyway, so things like comfort eating. So stress often leads to cravings for high sugar and high fat foods. So people will say it's 11 times. You're 11 times more likely to consume high sugar foods and 6 times more likely to consume highly processed foods if you are stressed. Again, that comes down to cortisol release. So it increases appetite. So that's one of the big things of it, is increased appetite. The other side of it is reduced physical activity. That's a pretty obvious one. Lack of motivation, fatigue, etc. pretty standard. The other thought I had on that one is snacking patterns is kind of in line. So I guess, do you guys snack more when you're stressed? And if you snack more,
it depends. No, I think it's probably less of the snacking, just more of the unhealthy choices for me. I'm not necessarily a snacky person.
Yeah. So I was going to say, you probably would have noticed that sometimes your worst food decisions come when you're most stressed. Would we agree? Not agree? Or is it a difficult one? Is that really? Is it? Sometimes we don't necessarily associate that with stress.
Yeah, I mean, quite often it's tiredness. You know, if you're feeling a bit overworked, a bit, but there you go. That could be your physical stress as well as the episodic stress as well.
Releasing.
Connor, you were going to say something, then I thought I jumped in.
No, yeah, I'm still thinking about you saying about the. I just had to go to the toilet, by the way. I did put it in the chat, but I didn't know if you've seen it. So for our
seen it. All good. We didn't mention it because we didn't think it had to be referred to, but well done.
So I was thinking about you saying it's more the unhealthy choices when you're stressed, and I'm linking that to like the fast food. Like, I'm so stressed I can't be bothered to cook. I'm gonna I don't know if this has already been said, but that's what I'm relating to in this situation, is the whole effortness of having to prepare something and cook it and plate it when I could just drive 5 minutes and get it and eat out of a box and then be done with it and have nothing. That, like, it sounds silly, but having to wash up could be a little stress that adds to bigger stresses when you just don't have time to do those sort of things. I mean, obviously everyone's got time to wash up, but it could just be a case of that day that, like, for instance, today, finished late, we've got the podcast, I wouldn't have had time to do washing up today. If I was really stressed, that could have been major. So the attraction to the sort of easy foods, the fast foods, is definitely present when stressed.
It's mental fatigue. You know, again, we've only got so much capacity. If stress is taking up so much of your capacity, unbeknownst to you, by the way, sometimes you don't necessarily feel that it's stress. You just feel like, I don't have the capacity right now, mentally or physically. These are things you do. And as I was just saying, is cortisol is released, and that increases cravings and increases appetite and all these things. You mix that with a level of mental fatigue, and it's no wonder that you can quickly, you know, find yourself in a spot where you go, I'm doing this, I'm going to McDonald's, mate. I just can't be doing anything else right now. You know, and that's fair enough. And also, as Russ quite pointing out, time. Sometimes it's just time. You know, it's just like, what time do I have? Again, that may be a sign of stressing in a, you know, as you say, partly physical, partly kind of mental, just because people don't have time. You're going to be stressed, aren't you? I think you'll find most people will say they're stressed when they feel like they've got no time.
Yeah.
so it's all a combination. I do have some small recovery tips or some kind of things you could do to reduce stress if you want to go through them.
Let's have a look.
So,
well, we can't end the journey without.
Well, yeah, no, we're now. I'll stop it here right now, mate. That's it. Well, it's a cliffhanger. Next episode.
Yeah.
So small things. I mean, you've heard a lot of these things anyway, because they're things associated with all sorts of just calming techniques and that. So first things first, breathing breaks. So the 4-7-8 breathing. You guys know what that is, I presume.
I do, because I read it on your message earlier.
Yeah. Yes.
Con probably didn't.
Well, let me use critical thinking here. What's it called?
The 4-7-8
breathing.
4-7-8 breathing. So is it going to be in relation to how long you have to breathe in and out for and hold breaths for?
Yes.
Okay. Now I just need to figure out what's realistic. Breathe in for 7, hold for 4, breathe out for 8.
No, in for 4, out for 7, 8 times.
What? In for 4, 7 times in a row?
So it's a variation on that. Russ. To be fair, the one
that was the one that similar to what I learned with cognitive behavioral therapy.
Well, you're probably more accurate there. Maybe mine is outdated. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8 is what I have. That feels like quite a long time, I think, when you actually do it. So
holding your breath for that long is difficult when you're struggling.
Yeah.
Actually holding your breath is really difficult. And again, what you're doing, this is a proven physiological response to lower stress, because doing that actually lowers your cortisol levels. So it is a genuine physiological response that will and does lower your stress levels.
Yeah.
By breathing. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it's really good. And I think sometimes people say, I don't have time for this. Some people say, and I appreciate that, but it's it's a small thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it waiting for a meeting or in traffic when you're at traffic lights or things like this, just for a few seconds. You don't have to do it, do it to 5-10 times maybe maximum. And as Russ says, it's kind of clinically proven.
There are breathing experts, like there's like the Wim Hof type thing. And if you, it's going to sound really stupid, but if you don't do it right, you can actually end up doing something not good, and you can end up sort of like not hyperventilating per se, but you can actually maybe sort of like worsen the fear, the feeling of anxiety within. So do read up on it and do things that are comfortable for you, rather than just thinking, oh, I remember hearing this thing on this. Maybe I'll hold my breath for a week and I'll be all right.
I'm going to have to, because I'm a bit confused how you can breathe in for 4 seconds, but then breathe out for 8. How can I breathe out more air than I breathed in?
No, it's because you really, if you like pucker your lips like you're sort of blowing up a balloon, and you let it out really slowly. So like really, when you breathe in really deeply, right to the bottom of your lungs, and then hold it, you're putting a lot of that oxygen into your blood, and then you really let it out slowly, and that starts to tell your brain and your nervous system that it's time for you to relax. And it's good to do before sleep as well. It's part of meditation.
Good to know.
Do it on the toilet, mate. It's a good time.
I usually bite a leather belt when I'm on the toilet.
Okay. Next one, movement breaks. So stretching, short walks, and even things like a quick set of like body weight exercises. So just something light, nothing heavy really per se. Those kind of things. It's, again, it's like waiting for your kettle to boil. So I'll do a bit of a lunge, things like that. I know it sounds silly to say, but these are all small things, that add up.
If I'm working from home and I'm put the kettle on, I'll go and have a dance in the kitchen. That kind of, I'd put a track on, have a little dance. There you go.
There you go.
You're welcome. There's an image for you.
Yeah.
That whole thing where they say, where you stand up and people are shaking out like proper, like what's I don't know what the term is, or like shaking out stress or shaking out that kind of thing.
Epilepsy.
In my line,
yeah. In
my line of work, it's called "Shake Your Sillies Out."
Nice. Nice.
Is there a little song that accompanies it? Because I can imagine like a "Shake Your Sillies Out, Shake Your Sillies Out."
Right, that's the clip for the episode this week.
But that comes from somewhere, right? People don't just magically think of that out of the air. So it is that kind of thing, basically. Yeah. So it may sound silly on the face of it, but there you go. Some little things to think about. So just for mindfulness stuff. So what do I hear and feel or see right now? So just kind of taking stock of where you actually physically are and what you're feeling at the moment. And you can also consider this good. Sorry,
I just wondered, because I've used that before. I think it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do like 5 things you can see, 4 you can hear, 3 you can smell, 2 you can taste, and 1 you can touch or something.
2 you can taste.
Well, all right, maybe 2 you can touch, and 1 you can taste. Or like...
I know what you're saying. It is like that. I don't have it in those terms, but yes.
Yeah.
This is brand new to me. You're supposed to acknowledge 5 things that you can see. 5
things you can see. 4 you can...
What's that going to benefit? I'm struggling to tie that in.
Because
It's just to focus your mind.
Yeah, you're focusing your mind. You're taking your mind off of whatever is causing you the stress or the anxiety or whatever, and you're
Basically talking yourself down.
Yeah.
It's a centering thing, essentially.
Okay. All right. I heard that one.
That's the general idea of it. You can also consider things like small little couple-minute guided meditations, which you can get apps on your phone for, that kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing. So that's potentially something to consider. Small other one is if you're quite a practical person, so like priorities and micro boundaries. So these are things like listing your priorities for the day, like top 3, and you delegate and postpone pretty much everything else. And these are kind of things where it's like when you've got, these are kind of workplace things mostly, but before agreeing to meetings, or if you've got a massive inbox of stuff, or you've got family and social obligations, that kind of thing, a little bit overwhelming. So that's more of a practical tip. To, focus on your top 3 and the kind of. I don't know if you guys have done that before. I certainly have on a few occasions.
I have to do it every day.
Sure. Yeah. So you
sure.
So.
And sorry, I acknowledge that I giggled a few seconds ago, and that was because when you were talking about apps, I was reminded of. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm not the best flyer in the world. So I have an app on my phone called Flying Calmly, and it's basically like a turbulence forecast. So I'm very much like, oh, if there's going to be turbulence, I know that it's not dangerous, but it's still not a comfortable thing. I still don't enjoy being in turbulence. So this basically tells me when there's the forecast for turbulence, and I can look at it and I can use it to like, I move my phone around, and that's the amount of turbulence there's going to be and stuff like that. And the last flight that I went on, so it was when I was flying home from Venice, and we had quite like rough turbulence for a sort of 10-minute spell. So I was like, I'm going to relax myself. I'm going to open up this app so that I can acknowledge that it's a normal thing and this is a normal feeling. And it wasn't opening. And the terminology that my phone decided to use in that moment was flying calmly is crashing frequently. And I was like, absolutely brilliant. Fucking thank you very much for that, Samsung.
That is I mean, irony doesn't get much better than that, does it? Oh, brilliant.
Speaking of phones then, mate, that's another thing you can do. Digital detox breaks. I think everyone knows this is good for you.
I spoke about that the other day. Yeah, I think when I come back from my last holiday, I said I tried to block out a lot of. I had it for photos and all that stuff, but tried to like limit. Well, in fact, I didn't go on any like news apps or anything like that, or YouTube or whatever. And I did really, really enjoy having a WhatsApp break, because WhatsApp it's a blessing and a curse. It really is. That's all I'll say on that.
I'm on it all the time. Honestly, I could look at my phone right now and I could tell you first message of the day was, I don't know, somewhere in the region of 15 to 20 chats ago on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And everything else. And that is pretty typical, if I'm really honest. So, 15 different 20 people or chats have
I mean, our attention is such a commodity now. We are in an attention industry lifestyle, and I think people's demands for attention do take its toll. It does on me anyway. So many different channels for people to try and get hold of you and demand stuff from you. Even just a hello, like can sometimes when you're feeling the pinch, you can just be like, oh, fuck off, hello as well, see you later. Sometimes it's just like, no, I don't want another hello. Sorry. I think I just rage quit then, didn't I? Just crashed out, as the kids say. Oh, that's it. Russ has blown a fuse over WhatsApp.
Do you guys take your phones to the bathroom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, stop doing that. This is kind of like along those lines, I think, to be honest, I do it because it's the time I get to be able to answer messages and things like that.
Oh, lovely. I'm going to be thinking about that next time you reply to me. Oh, Josh is having a shit.
But it's, you know what I'm trying to say. But I've tried to now, in doing the research for this, to try to. I know I've only just started, but don't take it with me. Basically, when I get up from my desk and things like this, just
It's
turn
been
it over.
normalised so much. Like I remember thinking it was weird that old blokes would take a newspaper into the toilet with them. You know, and it's just the modern day newspaper that you can just interact with. Why wouldn't you? Why would you think of all the fecal matter that's been peppered on everyone's phones?
Have you ever, like, we talk about we all do it. Have you ever not done it and you find yourself like reading the ingredients on the bleach and shit like that? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Oh, this shampoo is particularly good for me.
Oh God! Count how many water drops there are on the shower.
That's amazing. Oh, it's so funny.
But anyway, it's something to consider, isn't it? Is to basically go on a phone-free 10-minute walk, do some genuine actual blocks, like pause blocks for emails and social media. Pick a task, any task during the day, and then say to yourself, I'm not looking at my phone 20 minutes after I've done this task. You know, whatever it is, you just, you know, I'm cooking dinner, not going to look at it while I'm cooking dinner. You know,
you can buy yourself a phone safe. This is a device where you can lock your phone away.
Yeah, but can't you just unlock it whenever you want to?
Why have I not thought of that? It has got an override, but you'd be stupid to use it.
Okay, all right, there you go.
So, yeah.
It requires a sacrifice.
Yeah, penis trap. Okay, so another one we were mentioning is emotional check-ins and journaling. So writing, say something, physically writing something down, or typing sentences about how you feel. Note one thing that you can actually influence in the day, and not focus on all the things that you can't. Is the main thing. That kind of thing. So morning coffee breaks, that kind of thing, or bed before bed. They're the kind of times that are pretty common for people to do that. I mean, I tend to be trying to sit there and read more before I go to bed rather than look at my phone. And then I'll slowly probably transition into something like I might physically write something on a piece of paper, you know, even if it's just like tasks for the next day, that kind of thing. And then the last one is something we mentioned further up, is things like social support and connections and that. So quick check-ins with your friend or family member, share a laugh, vent for 5 minutes, express gratitude, that kind of thing. Again, I know that means getting on your phone, quite likely, but those kind of things are pretty important as well. So they're not they're not time designed to be an hour of ranting, but they're more like 5 minutes of just checking with someone, that kind of thing. Speak to someone you haven't spoken to in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that segues quite nicely into the sort of new little mini feature that I think we were going to try out. And when we talk about like the community connection with one another, is talking out your problems with other people and getting their sort of spin on it. So this sort of little mini feature, if we're going to call it that, is about flipping those thoughts. And I said to the three of you before we started recording, Con was probably not fucking read it because he's, as we've already established that Con doesn't give a shit about us. So I don't know if we do want to just end on each of us. I'm quite happy to start. I'll give you my negative thought, and if the three of you then take a minute, and in that minute try and flip my negative thought, if that makes sense.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Can we get a jingle? Can we get some moody lighting? What?
Negative thoughts. Oh, I mean, flipping thoughts. There's the jingle. Oh, there we go. Brilliant.
Ah, there you go.
So my negative, my negative. See, I've got quite a serious negative thought now, and it seems this is going to sound trivial after a fucking gong. So, I have felt recently like almost like I'm failing as a father, i.e. I'm not spending as much time doing the things that I should do as a dad with Robin. So I don't know if there's any way that you can try and flip that thought.
That you're failing as a dad with Robin. You're not failing as a dad, you're succeeding as a single man.
Oh, lovely, thanks.
But you're in Robin's life, aren't you? Consistently, all the time.
Sorry, I didn't know if like it was a minute for Connor and then a minute for Josh and a minute for...
No.
Is it just
as a three?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
No, I've got nothing to say on that.
Yeah.
Surely that makes you a successful dad. If you consider yourself in a range of dads, let's put it this way, you're comfortably in your child's life and a constant presence in your child's life, something which many people don't have. Surely that automatically qualifies you as a highly successful father already.
What is the role of a father at this point in the child's life? To be a role model, to educate, to make sure standards are upheld, and to learn the way of the world. You're ticking those boxes. You're providing food and shelter and stability.
Yeah.
You're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's what this whole feature is going to be, isn't it? But I've still got it in there. Again, I'm pointing at my head. I've still got it in there. So I suppose that's the point of why I wanted to do this, is because it's easier from the outside looking into someone's situation. Like, I don't see the positives, but now that you know, I don't think about the fact that I'm present. Like that to me isn't a win, but actually it should be. So I do appreciate that. Yeah.
So there's not much I can add. It's already been said. So
nobody's under any illusion that it's difficult, and it's totally a fair thing to want to criticize yourself on. Not being a father, it makes me think that it's easier to sit here and say that and give advice for a situation that I'm not in or don't have direct experience of. But at my age, I've seen people be fathers of a similar age to you and maybe feel those thoughts and anxieties. But with my tenure, I've seen people come out the other side and know that the kids are fine, they're fine, and everything's cushy. So I hope it doesn't sound flippant to say you're smashing it, you're doing great, because genuinely I've seen over the course of time, I've seen kids being parented similarly to how you're doing it, and the kids are fine and they're winning and they're doing great. It's kind of all there is to it, mate. You're doing fine.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying. Yeah.
Well,
so, who's next?
Okay. Well, I was going to say, I personally don't have anything to give you, even the time I've racked my head for. Maybe it's something I can come back to in a week, once or two, and the next one when I've had a real serious consideration about it. That's not to say there aren't ever going to be negative things. It's just right now, personally, I haven't got anything serious in my mind.
But that's good, mate.
Yeah. The only thing that's creeping into my mind is the fact that Traitors is on in 10 minutes. And I need to put the kettle on and have a dance around the kitchen beforehand. So
had me dinner, yeah.
Yeah, Connor's got to have his dinner.
Yeah, we'll cut this out and we'll go back to it next week, shall we? On the next one. Yeah.
That mate,
yeah, the rate we're going, we'll have to put this out in 3 parts.
Yeah, 1 hour 20 is fine.
The time.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I've really enjoyed this one. I know sometimes it does feel a little bit heavy to talk about stresses, and I'm very conscious of the fact that I've taken up a bit of airtime talking about my stresses, and for that I apologise, but maybe someone can get something from it. Thanks for coordinating that stuff, Josh. That was some good research you've done there.
I think just this might be a nice time to a reminder for any listeners who've got this far that stress and burnout is reversible. It's not something that's forever. You know, rest, boundary setting, reconnecting with people, all the things we've mentioned basically, and not pushing yourself too hard. So those are all things that you can do to relieve stress. There, it's not a, as I say, it's a spectrum. It's not a definitive kind of thing. So, yeah.
Last thing I want to say is if you're a listener, be a faithful, right? Subscribe, smash the like button. It costs you nothing. Hit subscribe, please. Put a comment down below. Share it amongst your mates if you know anyone outside of the football world who might want to listen. Do share it and far and wide, and we'll be ever so grateful. And it does mean a lot to us because it means that we're not doing this just to fall on deaf ears or to shout into the void. We really do want to let people know that we are genuinely caring when it comes to especially men's physical health and mental health, but women's as well. So that's about what I've got to say.
Thank you to those who've done all of those things already.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Thank you. Well,
at least 75% of us have done it. So,
Well, I mean, this is about the 7th or 8th time in it now. Well, thanks, lads, again. So, it's been a good one. Yeah. Take it easy then, yeah?
Peace.
Cheers, boys.
Bye.
Peace.